I want to turn from there to the other big story today, a chilling attack outside the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. that left 2 Israeli embassy staff members dead. The suspect, Elias Rodriguez, has been arrested from the crime scene. Israel's president has condemned the shooting as an anti-Semitic act, vowing to stand strong against terror, while federal investigators are continuing to look at the case. Well, joining me now is Ayelet Razin, co-founder of the Dina Project, and someone close to one of those who was the victim of today's or yesterday's shooting. Appreciate your joining us, Ayelet. The victims of yesterday's shooting, 2 Israeli embassy staff, Yaron and Sarah. What was your first reaction? I'm told you knew Sarah personally.
I met Sarah around the mission I took upon myself. I'm a lawyer, a criminal lawyer, and what I've been doing since October 7th is collecting the evidential status, evidentials and indication, evidence, and I've been working on collecting the evidence regarding the conflict-related sexual violence, the sexual violence on October 7th, and in regard to what happened in Captive. Sarah was the person who coordinated this subject in the embassy. And what I do briefings where I present the evidential status to stakeholders, to people that it's important for them to know professionally what happened in detail. And Sarah helped me do that in the Congress and Senate with the professional teams in the White House. That's how I met her, and that's how our hearts connected. She was an amazing person, and she was taken brutally and too soon from this world.
But the attack took place in the United States, far away from Israel. Did that come as a shock to you that in the heart of Washington, this would happen now? Or is that an inevitable consequence of what we've been seeing happening in Gaza, the images coming in from there?
It did not come as a shock, I have to say. Unfortunately, being a Jewish person is an experience of being unsafe. Unsafe in Israel and unsafe around the world. Jewish people who travel on business or pleasure are recommended not to speak Hebrew in public, not to show signs of their Judaism or their nationalism in public places. And this is the experience of being a Jew, not in World War II and in the Holocaust, but in our days. Mm-hmm. And that is a very terrifying experience. And it is the responsibility of governments and organizations that in the name of being politically correct or politically balanced, give stage and legitimize public actions and speech that are anti-Semitic. And there's a exponential rise in anti-Semitic violence and speech in Jews all around the world. And not enough action is being taken, and it's not condemned.
But may I also say that one of the reasons, Ayelet, that pro-Palestine protests are gaining traction across the world is the Israeli bombing of Gaza, which hasn't just eliminated the leadership of Hamas and Hezbollah, but has destroyed the lives of thousands of innocents. Children have lost their lives. The war hasn't stopped. Do you think Israel is losing sympathy because of the manner in which the Netanyahu government is carrying on this war now?
Yes, but not only in the US, we see it also in Europe. As far as I know, at least 9 Jewish people around the world have been murdered because they are Jews. In France, a 12-year-old girl was raped as she was, they called her a dirty Jew in anti-Semitic circumstances. And I don't hear condemnation. I don't hear action being taken against people who burn flags or spray anti-Semitic violent mantras,
Right.
like Hitler should have finished the job, or go to the gas chambers. There's a line, a very clear line, and anyone who denies it is an anti-Semit. Between these dots, between these protests, and in the name of freedom of speech, people live in fear.
Okay.
Sarah was an American citizen. Her only fault was being a Jew. And she was murdered brutally in the middle of the United States, in Washington, on the outside the Jewish Museum.
Let me leave
It
it
is the
there.
responsibility.
Let me leave it there. That was Ayelet Razin speaking to me earlier today.